Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Hall, Athletic Director here at Mayville State. And today for AD's Corner, we'll have our first AD's Corner with baseball. With me today, entering his 38th season at the helm, Coach Scott Berry. Coach, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Very excited to have you here, Coach. And, obviously, not to rewind, but looking back at last season, regular season conference champs with only one home game. The weather does not look in your favor right now for early on. So I know you guys have been in the cages and in the gym. How's preseason kind of gone and practice leading up to Arizona?
Well, first of all, we've been down this path before, so it's not unusual for us to do a lot of our preparation indoors, and that's just the way we roll.
Yeah.
So leading into this year, I feel very good about the workouts that we've had. We've had over 60 kids workout day and night, and in preparation for the upcoming season. So we're happy with that. I've got an outstanding group of young coaches. I've got a great batch of veterans and newcomers to the program. We've been very happy with them, and now it's just a matter of trusting our preparation and jumping on the field and getting ready to go.
And Coach, I'm sure the guys are itching. I know you were rained out to go to Joplin, Missouri, and then snowed out Nebraska. And but you guys leave this week for Arizona, where you'll open your season or open your spring season. In Arizona. How excited are the kids to get out there and get some good weather and get on the diamond a little bit for how many games do you have in Arizona?
We have 6 varsity and 6 junior varsity games.
Perfect. Okay.
So they're itching to go.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is they've prepared long and hard, and they've earned the right to get on the field and check and see how their preparation and how their hard work and sweat and blood and tears have come together to help put this squad together. So, they've just been great to deal with, and it's very unfortunate. We've lost 7 games thus far to the weather, from the Joplin trip to the Hastings, Nebraska trip, and again, I think so much of what we do comes down to how well we mentally handle the setbacks that we do get, the hand that we do get dealt, and we have to learn to respond positively to it. Our program's committed to self-improvement, and so if you're interested as a player and as a coach about getting better every day, then that's where it's at. I mean, just because we're inside doesn't mean you can't improve.
Right.
Just because we're not playing that day, or we've been delayed a day or delayed 2 weeks, it's all about getting better. So we just challenge them on a daily basis to get better, whether it be in playing the game, being a great student, being a great son, a brother, and throw that challenge at them, and it's a pretty all-encompassing challenge. So we hope that they meet that. We hope that they respond positively to it, and once we get to start playing, just be ready to go.
Absolutely. And Coach, you touched on it a little bit with the cancellation of the games, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but when you talk about number of games played and number of wins you have, how much does that take a toll with those cancellations? Obviously, you had some fall games and had some good wins in the fall. Do you worry about that at all, as far as number of games played and that type of thing, when you look big picture, conference tournament, trying to get into the national tournament and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. It's a great question, and we do have to be concerned about that, and that is why we have to, as coaches, be very aggressive to find replacement games and to try to find people that we can play despite the cancellations. So for us, we're down 7. We've got to find some way to try to make them up. What we find out, what happens to us in the rankings and in the polls, is teams that tend to get 40 wins or more tend to put themselves in the best position to advance in the national playoffs.
Right.
In our case, we have one automatic qualifier for the national tournament, and that is the conference playoff champion. But there's years where we've had 3 because we've had 40-win teams, 3 40-win teams in our league that have put themselves in a good position to either be ranked or to win a tournament or win a regular season and to get looked upon favorably by the National Raiders. So
Gotcha.
yes, it's very important. We need to play games. We're allowed 55 and the vast majority of the country does play 55 or very close to it. So we need to get above that threshold. Last year was the first time in a number of years where we didn't get to 50 games or more, and we won the regular season but lost out in the playoffs because we only had 32 wins. It did work against us.
Right.
If we could have gotten to even 35, we would have been in a better position. And but our kids gave us everything they could, and it was a phenomenal year, and we're very proud of it. Nothing takes away from that. So, but you really would like to see them rewarded for a great season. And but unfortunately, if you don't play enough games, you just tend to not get recognized like those who do.
Right. And I know you had a short fall season as far as games, Coach, but some big wins. 2 wins against the Jimmies were great for the program, obviously. So hopefully we can add that to total wins in the spring as well, and be in the hunt as you often are. Coach, you talked a little bit about roster, big roster, but you have some new guys, new faces that are going to be impact players, and then obviously some returners that you look to carry the load a little bit. If you could just talk a little bit about the roster, some impact players that have been in the program for a while, and also maybe some new impact players as well.
I'll be happy to. We've got a number of kids who return who've got a lot of experience. We have a couple of 4-year starters, or for most of their 4 years have been starters in our program. A couple of local kids. Brady Nygaard from Mayville has been a starter for us for most of his 4-year career. Been an outstanding performer. 2 years ago was All-American. Had a phenomenal season and has been a great player for us. Riley Nelson stepped in about halfway through his freshman year, became our shortstop, and has been there ever since. So those 2 really help anchor our program. On top of it, at catcher, we've got Mason Prisbilla, who's back. Evan Yamaguchi is back after a year off from a medical hardship, so that gives us some experience at the catcher position. John Pluth is a first-team all-conference performer for us last year. He's at second base. In the outfield, we have a first-team all-conference player in Zach Foster who returns. So those people really are people we're going to lean on heavily to give us a lot of leadership. In their case, they're all seniors as well, so we're going to lean on them, and they've been great thus far. So we'll look forward to seeing how that progresses. Some new people in the program. We're still establishing some things in the infield. Brady Nygaard will most probably spend most of his time at first base.
Okay.
We have a freshman in Jared McCorster who will play at third.
Wow.
As it is right now, we have a junior transfer, Gunnar Garpstead, who will play in the outfield along with Paxton Ketchum. So that should complete our lineup. Right now we envision a freshman doing most of our DHing, and Kyle Monahan. So we have some young kids that are getting sprinkled in there, and they've earned the opportunity to play. So we expect them to have great careers for us as well. And fortunately for them, they've got veterans to lean on for the experiences that they've been through, and can really show them a lot of good things. Beyond that, we move on to our pitching staff. Last year we had 3 all-conference pitchers, and those are the people we saddled up and rode for the bulk of our season, but they're gone. One was the pitcher of the year in our conference, Mason Swaygarden. Eric Barron was a second-team starting pitcher, and Kelton Agnes was a second-team relief pitcher for us. this year. We've got one of our regular starters back, that's Austin Harrington. Beyond that, we're really very, very new. Who are we going to be counting on? Could be a variety of people. Somebody that I don't mention today is probably going to have a very, very big impact on our season, and that's the beauty of all of this. It's giving kids opportunities, letting them step up and do what they've been taught, do what they've worked on, and to in an educational setting like this, to be able to see them grow and learn from the experiences they've had and from the hard work they've put in is really, really enlightening. So we look forward to seeing who those so-called surprises are going to be for us. We've added some kids since this fall on the mound, some kids that weren't eligible, that will be eligible, that we think will help us. Again, I think there's probably a few too many names to mention right now, but we'll lean on them and look forward to them making great contributions to the Comets this spring.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you got quite a mix, Coach, with some freshmen that are gonna, put their big boy pants on early and be put to the test, and then looks like you got some great leadership as well. So excited about that. And one last question, Coach. And this is, hopefully we'll do another one of these when the weather clears up a little bit, maybe midway through the season. But
maybe midway through August.
Something like that. Yep. You talked about how you've seen the North Star get as many as 3 teams in the playoffs. How competitive? And I know it's a competitive league. My short time here, I know just Bellevue, I know is very strong, but how competitive is the North Star from top to bottom, and how important it is for you guys to be in a good routine and playing good baseball once you start conference play?
What's really unique about the game of baseball itself is just how important pitching is to the total outcome. Unfortunately, last year we were the number 1 seed and we lost the first game of the tournament to the 8th seed because by and large, we didn't compete very well on the mound. We didn't do as well on the mound as we thought or anticipated, and that's the one of the beauties of the game.
Yeah.
At that point last year, it was really frustrating, but it's the beauty of the game of baseball. So I'm giving you a short answer in a long way, but what happens is the game is so dominated by pitching that if you pitch well, you win. So the point I'm getting at is we can play what is probably the worst team in the league and lose one of the games or in the series because they've got a pitcher who really has a good day and a team that plays very well behind that pitcher. So those things can happen in baseball that doesn't happen in most other sports.
Right.
So those are the things we have to watch out for. So from top to bottom in our league, to answer your question, everybody we run into, I find to be very competitive.
Right.
And I find that when they have their best kid on the mound, they respond very positively to them, and they tend to play better than what their record would show. So those are the things you have to watch out for in our sport and in our league. You'll also find that velocity in pitching is a good thing, but if you have nothing to go with it, everybody in our league from top to bottom will hit a fastball.
Yeah.
And they'll hit it all the way on up to 90 miles an hour. If you don't have more to it than your fastball, if you don't throw your off-speed pitches for strikes, if you don't change speeds, if you don't throw what we call quality pitches, you're prone to get hurt.
Gotcha.
So again, that's the great neutralizer. Another thing in baseball that's unique is every surface you play on is different.
Yep.
We played down at Viterbo this fall. We lost 2 games in the last inning, and I tip my hat to Viterbo. They did a great job, and this is nothing against Viterbo, but we're 1 out away from winning both games, and we get bad hops. that led to them rallying and scoring the winning runs. So you don't have that on a basketball floor where
Right.
you're going to get a bad hop on your bounce.
Right.
It's something that's much more within your control. So those are some unique things about baseball. Those are some unique things about playing within our league. Bellevue is perennially a top 10 to top 15 team in our country. Jamestown went to the GPAC, so they're no longer in the league, but we have, every team in our league is going to be a challenge.
Yep.
And we've been blessed to have had a lot of success in the past, but it's hard earned, and you get into the league, they are very challenging. So I find the league to be very competitive and very challenging, and we're going to have to show up every time out and put forth our best effort to get good results.
Well, Coach, I love hearing the details, and I could pick your brain all day. I think those the details that you mentioned, that you just discussed, has a lot to do with your success over the years, obviously. So excited to see you guys fine-tune throughout the season, and hopefully get out here on Scott Berry Field and be able to play some home ball games. Appreciate you coming on today. Is there anything you'd like to say, anything to the community as you guys get ready to leave for Arizona to open up the 2019 campaign?
Well, having been here for 39 years and 38 years as a head baseball coach, I have a lot of thanks to hand out. And the Mayville State University has been a blessing in my life and my family's life. The support has been outstanding. People can constantly ask me how we do what we do up here in Mayville, North Dakota, in the upper Midwest. And to be quite honest, I really can't give a definitive answer other than feeling very blessed. We've got a combination of an institution and a community that cares about us, an alumni base that is extremely supportive. Of course, we've got over 70 years of continuity between myself and Al Meyer in running this program, so we have a lot of people who care deeply about us, and that's sensed by our kids from year to year, whether they're newcomers or veterans. They have that sense, and they're held to a high standard. There's great expectations out there, and that's a beautiful thing. And when your young men learn to handle those types of things and accept those challenges and learn to be accountable and responsible for more than just themselves, and what they truly do owe to our university and to our alumni base, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm just feel very lucky and again very blessed to have been a part of it over 40 years in my case, because I was also a player there. So this is really a great thing, and I just want to throw out my thanks and appreciation to all the people who helped make Comet's baseball a tradition-rich program.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you. Be sure to look on our athletics website. As I mentioned, that Coach Berry's guys will be in Arizona for 6 varsity games coming up, and be sure to tune in. And then as they head back, they'll hit the ground running with some out-of-conference games, and also conference games will be here before you know it. Coach, I appreciate your time today, and go Comets.